When wanting to achieve a goal or grow in a field, we usually aim very high, very fast. People that are all, we compare ourselves to people that are already established, people that worked their way up in the dark when they were unknown, right? We see their success and imagine that they just came out of nowhere and just skyrocketed into fame and acclaim, right? We imagine that they just did the bare minimum and, you know, that's how they got to where they are. But that's usually not true. Most people that are successful in their fields have worked for years to acquire the skills necessary to become experts in that field, right? They, they they've built a solid foundation. So when they're presented with an opportunity for recognition or to be regarded, they're ready, right? They have what it takes. Meanwhile, we want to skip all the necessary steps to becoming a professional and just be awarded a gold medal. Yeah, I just started doing gymnastics yesterday and I'm better than Simone Biles. Ooh. But it doesn't work that way. So let's talk about it. Hi, I'm Chioma. Welcome to my channel where I talk about life, leveling up your mindset, and just building your confidence and evolving into your best self. First, let's identify what is going on. We want fast success. We want to be on top of the world. We want to be on top of everyone else, right? But why? Why do we need these things? I came down to two reasons. I narrowed it down to two reasons. Number one is we feel that we need these things to be worthy and valuable, right? We need these acclaim and, we need to be the best to be worthy. And the second reason is in our society, we diminish the value of hard work and intentional building and slow progress, right? So let's work through these things. So for number one, which is we need these things to feel worthy, right? We're constantly bombarded with messages that imply that the richer, the more beautiful, the more successful, the more achieving people have more innate worth and value, right? That those that are not as highly regarded, oh, they have more innate worth and value than those that are not as highly regarded. But in truth, everyone has their own value and worth. Everyone has innate worth because they're human. Even if like this person is more successful than that person, they both have value and worth. And different people's riches are in different areas, which is why they say like everybody's intelligent. Is just a matter of what type of intelligence they have, right? So in the book Songs of Achilles by Madeline Miller, Patroclus was hated. He was hated and looked down upon by most people, especially his father to start off with. Okay, his father was just terrible. But his father exiled him at the age of 10 instead of protecting him, right? The other boys in exile, they didn't care about him, they looked down on him. And Thetis, if I pronounce that right, who is Achilles' mother. And I'm sure that from the outside, he seemed, lacking, especially compared to Achilles with his half god self, his beauty and elegance and, his skill. So people always wondered, what does Achilles see in this man? Like, why would Achilles choose him out of everybody, right? Nobody could understand what Achilles liked about him. But throughout the story, we get to see him, we get to see his heart, his loving kindness, his just the way he freely gives. His heart is just very open and free from malice, full of love and understanding for the situations other people find themselves in, right? And it in the time of the war, when the prophecy came that Hector and Achilles would die only after the best of the Myrmidons had died, neither he nor Achilles, nor even the mom Thetis, knew who the best of the Myrmidons was. Nobody knew because they were like, who are they talking about, right? And he didn't see himself that way. He just saw himself as a regular person. He actually saw himself as less than, but he wasn't envious of Achilles because, Achilles was also so kind and loving and nice that it was just, and in a way, innocent and naive that he couldn't hate. He couldn't hate. And so they didn't know that it was about him. They didn't know that the prophecy was talking about him. The only person that probably might have thought that was maybe Briseis, because she did see him as the best of the Myrmidons, which she did mention at some point. She did see him that way, but because she never knew the prophecy, she never knew it was going to be him. And no, nobody did. But why was he seen as the best? Because he was so kind and open hearted. Even though from the outside he wasn't that handsome, he wasn't rich. I mean, he was exiled, he was quiet, he wasn't charming, but his heart gave him value, his character, right? And when we see the prophecy play out and we see him die and then Hector and Achilles, then we see that, oh, the prophecy was in fact talking about him and he is the best of the Myrmidons, and the best of them all. you know some people are more visibly blessed than others, but it doesn't mean that those others are not also blessed, right? They're just different, not less, just different. So just because you feel like, oh, this person's gifts, they're this, they're that, they're all visible gifts, doesn't mean you don't also have your own gifts. Maybe they're just not as visible. So when it comes to finding, like, having worth, if you're not like, you have to get your worth on the inside, right? And in the end, wh- wh- why did Patroclus really die? Because he didn't have to die. He wasn't a part of the original, of the original prophecy, but because Achilles was putting off killing Hector, because Achilles was putting off killing Hector, he became a part of the prophecy because the gods knew that it was only with something that would inspire him to such great anger, only something that would inspire him to such great anger would make him go after Hector, right? So the gods knew that. So even when he had made this suggestion to, um Achilles that he go in Achilles' uniform, he's in the book, it did say that it felt like the gods were speaking to him. And I believe that they were orchestrating the war at that time. Maybe they had tried to allow Achilles to do on his own. He wasn't doing it. They're like, we about to do it ourselves. Right. So that's just the, otherwise he would not have died, and it would have just been Achilles kills Hector, somebody kills Achilles, which of course was Paris using Apollo. Um, yeah. So that's for number one. You have to find something within to give you that sense of value and worthiness, because those external blessings that we envy in other people, while they have value, they're not necessarily as valuable as the inner workings. Okay? So definitely try to find something worthwhile on the inside. Now, the second conundrum we face when it comes to this thing of starting small instead of jumping and being at the top immediately is that we diminish the value of hard work, because starting small means a lot of times you're going to be working hard and not seeing that much gain at first, right? It's just it can be very difficult when you feel like you're putting in all this work, you're doing everything right, you're doing this, you're doing that, but you're not getting the results you want. It can be really disheartening. But in that time where nobody knows you yet, where you you're not on top, you're not beholden to so many rules and stuff, you're able to really build yourself, figure out who you want to be, what part of yourself you want to present to the world, and what parts you want to keep for yourself. And you're really able to develop in a way you would not have otherwise. So I don't feel like that's a waste. It's not a waste of of time and effort to not immediately get the grand prize, even though sometimes it does seem like that with the way society pushes and stuff. Um, so yes, and our society only likes hard work and intentional, consistent building when it comes in a certain package, right? When we can see the end results. Like people will be like, oh, Steve Jobs, blah blah blah. He was in the garage doing blah blah blah. He dropped out of school to do blah blah blah. But in the time he was doing it, everybody was saying he was crazy, probably calling him names, probably calling him a weirdo, like, oh, it's never gonna work out. Like, why are you doing that? Talking crazy. But then now that we see the results, it's like, oh wow, Steve Jobs, he did this, he was really hardworking. But how many people in your life right now are working hard on something that's not bearing fruit and you're talking shit, right? But we praise it on Steve Jobs, but we make fun of it when it comes to our friends. Like that doesn't make sense. So the bitter truth is our world does not care much for virtue. It does not care more for virtue. It cares more for achievement, especially financial achievement. Okay. People do not herald hard work if the person is poor. Let's be honest. Let's just be honest. You know, they are clowned, made fun of, disregarded. Okay. In our society, we herald good people who are rich or assign goodness or enviable traits to rich people, even when, you know, they're terrible, they're awful, they portray disgusting behavior. People like the Wolf of Wall Street, like Jay Gatsby, Patrick Bateman. These are men that are highly regarded in pop culture among a certain group. And it's just because these men are rich. These men are not necessarily the best people, you know what I'm saying? But because they're rich, all of that is washed clean and they're given a new life under capitalism. You know, their savior money, the green American dwellers, came and washed their sins clean. And now they've been born again under their Lord and Savior, capitalism. Okay? So, um, or if we talk about people in our time, we can then look at the people that pretend to be rich in order to get these characteristics put on them, in order to get the benefits, right? So in our society, like at least these men, we knew that they were rich. You know what I'm saying? Like they did have money, except maybe what's his name, Jay Gatsby, because he was doing a lot. He was living that fast life, and it caught up to him. Even Wolf of Wall Street. So you see, like with these things, like they're just not reliable and good, right? But then if you see somebody that is like a good, honest worker, they're disregarded because a lot of times they don't amass those great fortunes, especially early on, and they don't spend crazy. They don't spend crazy. Like, look at Gatsby. He had all these friends. Why? Because he was throwing lavish parties, spending a bunch of money. Everybody wanted to be around him. Do you think they would have done any of that if he didn't have money? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Right? The truth is, when it comes to scamming and doing negative things to quickly amass a fortune, You can do it. We have a couple people right now, like influencers, that we can be like, oh, this person, they did this scam to make money. They've been doing. There are some people, almost everything they are involved in, business wise, is a scam. Is a scam. And these people are rich. They're making money off of it. Right. And that's one way to do it. You know what I'm saying? That's one way to do it. But the thing is, if you scam to achieve quick wealth, it sticks to you, right? Like the stench of it sticks to you, like onions in your fingernails and stuff. And oftentimes, these scammers are disgraced. They have a terrible reputation, and rightfully so. And they they don't have as like the kind of peace. Like they're often very troubled because it's it's always a matter of when are they gonna get caught. Most of the time, they do get caught. It's just a matter of when, you know. So you can choose to scam and to take shortcuts and to do MLMs and to do all that, or you can choose to walk in through and take it slow, take it easy. Know that yes, it's difficult. Yes, it's gonna take a while, but you're gonna build yourself up, right? Like you have choices. You can choose whatever you want, right? I feel like my advice is you should consider the pros and cons of both sides. And if you do decide to walk in truth and be honest, you might never become rich. That's the truth. That's the truth. You might never get there. But there are some pros to that too. Like I said, learn getting the skills. You will know that you're properly skilled for the job. You will know that you've put in the time and the effort to really be where you're standing, right? So some here are some of the things that you can get when you start building slowly and surely, and you start small even though you might not feel like it's enough. Number one, you're able to start building without pressure, right? You have the time and space to feel yourself out, to figure out what you want. Number two, you're able to see what trust in the process looks like for you, and how you react in certain situations, and how to react in certain situations. Number three, you're able to evolve and strengthen without too many eyes on you, right? And you have the ability to get up when you fall without shame, without embarrassment. You're able to change your mind without having to justify or explain to people why. And number four, you're able to develop a deeper trust within yourself, with your intuition, and your discernment gets stronger, and you're able to read yourself and truly know how you feel about a certain situation. And number, I think this is five or six, you're able to build the tools and have backup in preparation for your rise. So when you get the opportunities, you know which ones to say yes to and which ones to say no to, and how to support yourself through it all. So those are just a couple pros for me when it comes to building slow, building even when it feels like, I should just quit. Just keep pushing, because you are in fact gaining some skills. Sometimes you see the other people, they're doing the quick things to get the quick money. Just keep pushing, because you are in fact gaining some skills. Okay, in conclusion, although it's very tempting to rise rapidly and achieve quick success, you don't have to. You don't have to. And there are multiple benefits to growing slowly and steadily and intentionally. So put in the work and trust yourself, and trust that you can achieve what you want without scamming or selling your soul or whatever, right? Okay, that's all I have for today. And I'm curious, what is one small step you are taking towards your goals right now? Or is there something you've been wanting and waiting to start? And what is holding you back? Please let me know in the comment below. I would love to read it. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you have something that you want me to talk about, or you have a question that you want me to answer, I would love to. Just leave me a comment down below. Bye. I will see you next time. Bye.